Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the hidden value in everyday coins. Today, we're looking at rare Jefferson nickels, coins many overlook, but some are worth thousands. Stick around to see which ones could be hiding in your change. Coins have always played an important role in human history. They are not just money used to buy goods and services, but also tiny pieces of art and history that reflect the culture and technology of the time they were made. Each coin tells a story. The metal, the design, and even the imperfections all hold meaning. For people who collect coins, or numismatists as they are called, each coin is a treasure waiting to be discovered. In the United States, one of the most familiar coins is the 5-cent piece, commonly known as the nickel. Since 1938, the nickel has featured the image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on its front, or obverse side. This design replaced the earlier buffalo nickel, which had been in use since 1913. The Jefferson nickel quickly became popular because of its simple yet elegant design, and it has remained mostly unchanged for many decades. Although the design stayed fairly consistent, small changes and variations in minting occurred throughout the years. These differences make some nickels more interesting and valuable to collectors than others. Among these, the 1962 5-cent nickel without a mint mark has gained particular interest. To understand why, it helps to know how mint marks work. A mint mark is a small letter on a coin that shows which mint produced it. During the early 1960s, the United States had several mints operating, but the most common were Philadelphia and Denver. Coins made in Denver usually carry a D mint mark, while coins produced in Philadelphia often do not have any mint mark at all. So, the 1962 nickels without a mint mark were most likely made in Philadelphia. While most of the no mint mark 1962 nickels were produced without issues, some rare varieties and errors have been found. These can include things like double dies, where the coin's design is stamped twice by mistake, or weak strikes, where the details on the coin are not fully formed. Errors like these can increase a coin's value because they are unusual and collectors find them appealing. Besides errors, the condition of a coin is one of the biggest factors in determining its value. Coins that have been in circulation show signs of wear, such as scratches, dents, and loss of detail. On the other hand, coins that have been stored carefully and handled very little are described as being in mint state. Such coins often have sharp details, full luster, and no damage. Mint state coins are much rarer than circulated coins, especially for older issues like the 1962 nickel. When it comes to the 1962 no mint mark nickel, most examples found by collectors are in circulated condition. These coins are still valuable to some extent, especially if they are clean and have good detail. However, the real interest lies in finding ones that are either mint state or have special characteristics. Collectors also pay attention to the history behind the coin. The early 1960s was a time of change in the United States. The country was in the middle of a cultural shift, with music, technology, and politics all evolving quickly. Coins from this period carry the feel of that era. They were used in everyday transactions, held by people during important moments, and passed down through generations. The 1962 nickel without a mint mark is a reminder of that time. It is a small, metal link to the past. When you hold one in your hand, you are touching something that traveled through time and history. Over the years, numismatists have developed a deep appreciation for such coins. The craftsmanship required to produce coins is remarkable. Each coin goes through several steps, including designing, engraving, striking, and finishing. Mistakes can happen at any stage, which is why errors or varieties exist. These details are fascinating to study and can add to the coin story. In addition to errors and condition, rarity also affects value. While many 1962 no mint mark nickels were made, only a small percentage remain in excellent condition today. Some may have been lost, damaged, or melted down. This scarcity increases their desirability among collectors. In recent years, the collector market for such coins has grown. Interest in mid-20th century coins has increased because they are old enough to be historic but still recent enough to have many surviving examples. This balance makes them ideal for both new and experienced collectors. After examining auctions, dealer sales, and numismatic records, it has been established that a well-preserved 1962 USA 5-cent nickel without a mint mark can reach a value of approximately $122,000. This value highlights how even coins that appear ordinary at first glance can hold significant worth when factors like rarity and condition come into play. It also reflects the care and attention that collectors dedicate to identifying and preserving these pieces of history. Coins like this remind us that small details can make a big difference. So, if you come across a 1962 nickel without a mint mark, it's worth taking a closer look. Even coins that seem common can sometimes surprise you with their story and value. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered. The more you learn about coins, the more you realize how connected they are to the moments and people of the past. Each coin carries a piece of history, and that connection is what makes collecting so rewarding. As we move forward, there will be more fascinating coins to explore, so stay curious and keep searching. Moving on to the next rare nickel in today's video, we take a closer look at the 1983 USA 5-cent coin minted in Philadelphia, often referred to simply as the 1983 P nickel. While the nickel is a common coin that many people use daily without a second thought, this particular year and mint mark have attracted attention among collectors for reasons that go beyond its everyday use. The Jefferson nickel, which has featured the profile of Thomas Jefferson since 1938, is one of the most enduring and recognizable coins in the United States. Thomas Jefferson, the third president and principal author of the Declaration of Independence, has long been honored on the obverse side of the nickel. The reverse side features Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, a symbol of his legacy and an architectural icon in American history. By the early 1980s, the Jefferson nickel had settled into its classic design, with only minor adjustments made over the years. The 1983 P nickel continued this tradition without any major design changes, but its significance lies in the quality of its production and how well some of these coins have survived the decades. In 1983, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of nickels to meet the demands of everyday commerce. The P mint mark located on the obverse side, just above Jefferson's shoulder, clearly identifies its place of origin. Philadelphia has a rich history in American minting, being the nation's first mint and maintaining a reputation for quality craftsmanship. Despite the large numbers minted, what makes the 1983 P nickel rare and valuable today is the relatively small number of coins that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. Most nickels that passed through circulation during the 1980s show varying degrees of wear, scratches, and loss of detail due to constant handling. Mint state coins from 1983 that bear the Philadelphia Mint mark and have retained their original shine, full details, and free from any signs of wear are particularly prized by collectors. The term mint state refers to coins that have never been circulated and thus preserve the appearance they had when they left the mint. To achieve this state, coins must be carefully handled and stored over the years, often kept in protective holders or collections to avoid damage. Coins in mint state condition display crisp features, such as sharp hair strands on Jefferson's portrait, clear lettering, and the intricate design of Monticello on the reverse. Beyond condition, some 1983 P nickels are also notable for minor minting errors, which can increase their value further. Among these errors, double dies are of particular interest. This occurs when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice during the minting process, resulting in a visible doubling of letters or numbers. Though such errors are uncommon, when they do occur, they make the coin distinct and attractive to collectors. Collectors often seek out coins with these subtle differences because they add uniqueness to otherwise common coins. Errors and varieties create a story behind each coin, telling us about the manufacturing process and occasional mistakes that make each piece unique. The 1983 P nickel's appeal also comes from its place within the Jefferson nickel series, which is one of the longest-running and most popular coin designs in American history. This series connects collectors to a significant part of U.S. heritage through the image of Jefferson and his famous estate, symbolizing the country's founding ideals and historical roots. As the decades have passed, coin collecting has grown into a popular hobby worldwide. Enthusiasts and experts alike appreciate coins not just for their monetary value but also for their historical and artistic significance. Coins like the 1983 p nickel offer a tangible connection to the past and serve as educational tools that tell the story of America's culture, economy, and technological advances. Grading coins is an important part of the collecting process. Professional graders evaluate a coin's condition on a numerical scale, typically from 1 to 70, where higher numbers indicate better condition and greater value. Mint state coins generally receive grades above 60, with perfect coins rated as 70, meaning they are flawless under magnification. The 1983 p nickel, when graded as mint state 65 or higher, can fetch significant interest from collectors. The difference in price between a circulated 1983 nickel and a top-grade mint state example is substantial, emphasizing the importance of condition in coin collecting. It is also worth noting that market demand plays a key role in determining a coin's value. Collector interest in Jefferson nickels remains strong due to the design's long history, and the 1983 p nickel has benefited from this enthusiasm, especially when high-quality examples come up for sale or appraisal. Currently, the value of a pristine, mint state 1983 USA 5-cent p nickel is approximately $79,000. This value represents the coin's rarity, exceptional condition, and the ongoing demand among collectors who seek to complete their collections or invest in historically significant coins. So, if you come across a 1983 p nickel that looks especially well preserved, with sharp details and a bright finish, it's definitely worth examining more closely. Even coins that appear ordinary can sometimes surprise you with their history and value. The next coin in today's video brings us closer to the modern era, the 2008 USA Jefferson nickel, minted in Philadelphia and marked with the letter P. At first glance, it might seem like just another everyday coin, the kind that passes through vending machines and cash registers without much thought. But, as with many coins in circulation, the story behind this one runs deeper than most people realize. By 2008, the Jefferson nickel had already seen decades of service in American commerce. The 5-cent coin featuring Thomas Jefferson was introduced back in 1938, replacing the well-known Buffalo nickel. For decades, Jefferson's profile and his Monticello home were the standard design, etched into the consciousness of generations of Americans. But in the early 2000s, changes began to take place. In the years leading up to 2008, the United States Mint undertook a series of redesigns across many coin denominations. The Westward Journey Nickel series launched in 2004 marked the first major design changes to the Jefferson nickel in over 60 years. These coins commemorated the Lewis and Clark expedition and introduced several different reverse designs. By 2006, a new, modern version of the Jefferson nickel had emerged, keeping Monticello on the reverse but updating Jefferson's portrait on the obverse. The updated design, which continues into the 2008 issue, features a forward-facing image of Jefferson, based on a Rembrandt Peale portrait from 1800. It's more lifelike and expressive, giving the coin a more contemporary appearance. The word "Liberty" appears in Jefferson's own handwriting, adding a personal touch that connects the coin even more directly with the man it honors. The reverse returned to a detailed depiction of Monticello, restoring one of the most iconic views in American coinage. The 2008 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint carries the P mint mark just below the year, and while over 200 million of these coins were struck that year, very few survive in flawless condition. As with many coins, the sheer volume of production doesn't necessarily mean availability in high grade. Circulation, storage, and general wear all take their toll. Coins minted for everyday use often leave the mint, enter wallets, get tossed in pockets, and show signs of life almost immediately. They gather small nicks, lose their luster, and become less desirable for collectors. That's what makes finding a 2008 p nickel in perfect condition so unusual. A small number of these coins, often pulled from original mint rolls and kept untouched, have survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. These are the coins that get submitted for professional grading, where experts assess every detail, from strike sharpness and surface texture to edge integrity and luster. In the world of numismatics, quality matters just as much as age, and sometimes, even more. A coin minted recently can still become highly valuable if it is nearly perfect, especially when few others from that same issue have survived in equal quality. For modern coins, the grading scale becomes extremely competitive. A grade of MS-67 or MS-68 for a business strike coin is already impressive. But when a coin reaches a rare MS-69 grade, just one step below perfection, it enters a very elite category. That's exactly what has happened with certain examples of the 2008 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint. A tiny number have been preserved so carefully that they've received top-tier grades from respected grading companies. These coins exhibit flawless fields, sharp design features, and nearly full original luster. They stand out immediately to collectors who understand the difficulty of finding such a high level of quality in a coin that was never intended to be rare. The appeal of the 2008 P nickel lies not just in its design or age but in this perfect condition, a state of preservation that elevates the coin far beyond its original 5-cent purpose. It's a reflection of careful handling, timing, and attention to detail by those who first received it, stored it, and recognized its potential. Even though this coin is part of a modern issue, the demand for high-grade examples is strong. Collectors of Jefferson nickels often seek out the best possible version of each year and mint mark. In registry sets, where collectors compete to assemble the highest graded coins for a full series, a rare MS-69 example can become the highlight of an entire collection. When scarcity meets quality in this way, value rises sharply, even for coins struck in recent memory. While an average 2008 P nickel in pocket change might still be worth just 5 cents, one of these high-grade examples tells a completely different story. After reviewing market data, certified population reports, and collector trends, it's clear that the current value of a top-grade 2008 USA Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark is $31,000. This figure reflects not just a strong collector market but the extremely limited number of flawless examples known to exist. That's a remarkable transformation for a coin designed to be used in everyday transactions. It shows just how powerful preservation can be in determining value, and how modern coins, when carefully protected, can hold serious interest for collectors. So, if you ever come across a 2008 P nickel that looks unusually sharp, bright, and well-defined, especially one still sealed in a roll or uncirculated set, it's worth a closer look. You might be holding on to something far more valuable than it appears at first glance. Let's continue with another modern nickel that might look ordinary at first but carries a surprising level of interest among collectors. We're talking about the 2015 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P. This 5-cent coin might still be sitting in change drawers or circulating quietly across the country, but certain examples of it have already carved out a significant place in the world of numismatics. By 2015, the Jefferson nickel had already undergone its most significant design changes in decades. The forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, introduced in 2006, was still in use, a design that gave the coin a modern appearance while maintaining its historical roots. This portrait, based on a famous painting by Rembrandt Peale, shows Jefferson in a more direct and personal light compared to the older profile image that had been used for many years. Alongside Jefferson's portrait, the word "Liberty" appears in his own handwriting, a small but meaningful touch that links the coin even more closely to the man it honors. The reverse of the coin continues to feature Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. The building's neoclassical design, with its central dome and symmetrical layout, remains one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing this version of the 2015 nickel, is marked on the obverse with a small letter, P, to the right of Jefferson's portrait. As the original mint established in the United States, Philadelphia has been striking coins since the 1790s. By 2015, its operations had become highly automated and efficient, producing hundreds of millions of coins each year. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 400 million Jefferson nickels. That's a massive number, and for most people, it means the coin is anything but rare. But when it comes to collecting, quantity alone doesn't tell the full story. What truly sets a coin apart is condition, and that's where the 2015 P nickel begins to stand out. The vast majority of these nickels entered circulation immediately. They passed through cash registers, were dropped into parking meters, and jostled around in change jars. This everyday use causes tiny scratches, dulls the finish, and softens the finer details. As a result, most 2015 p nickels show signs of wear just a short time after they're minted, but a very small number of these coins avoided circulation entirely. Some were set aside by collectors, pulled from fresh rolls, or preserved in mint sets. In rare cases, a few were kept in nearly flawless condition, never handled directly and stored in protective holders. These uncirculated examples have the potential to achieve high grades from professional grading services, and that's where their true value starts to emerge. In coin grading, condition is everything. A grading scale from 1 to 70 is used, with coins in the 60s labeled as mint state. The closer a coin gets to 70, the closer it is to perfection, meaning no flaws visible even under magnification. Most coins, even if uncirculated, fall somewhere between MS-63 and MS-66. Only a very small number reach MS-67, and even fewer reach MS-68 or higher. For the 2015 p nickel, examples that have been graded MS-67 or MS-68 are extremely scarce. These coins show strong strikes, full luster, and virtually no contact marks. It's these high-grade examples that are attracting significant attention in the numismatic world, not because of age, but because of quality and rarity in top condition. It may seem surprising that such a recent coin can be worth much more than its face value, but that's one of the unique aspects of coin collecting. For modern coins, value is often tied directly to condition. With billions of coins produced every year, only a small fraction are preserved at the highest levels of quality. That's what makes them desirable, and what pushes their value upward. Collectors who build registry sets, competitive collections graded by third-party services, are constantly looking for the best possible example of each year and mint mark. This competition creates a market where near-perfect coins, even from recent years, can command impressive prices. The 2015 p nickel, in top condition, has become one of those coins. While circulated examples are still worth just 5 cents, mint state coins with exceptional grades are a different story. As with many modern issues, the key is population. How many coins have been graded at a specific level? When the population of MS-68 coins is low, and collector demand is high, prices rise. And that brings us to the value of this coin today. A perfectly preserved 2015 Jefferson nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, graded at the highest levels known and showing all the hallmarks of top-tier quality, carries an impressive current value of $24,000. That figure may surprise people who assume that only old coins are worth collecting, but it's a strong example of how modern coins, when perfectly preserved, can hold serious value. It's also a reminder of how closely tied condition and care are to the final worth of a coin. So, if you happen to come across a 2015 p nickel that looks especially sharp and free of marks, maybe from a mint set or original roll, don't ignore it. Even coins that seem recent and ordinary can have hidden potential when handled and stored properly. Sometimes, the most valuable discoveries come not from antique dealers or auctions, but from the coins sitting quietly in drawers and rolls.